I'm Melissa, and this is The Book Break. And today I'm going back and visiting an incredible fantasy author, Jim Butcher. Let's go. All right, guys, I'm so excited to be back here again with Jim. Thanks again for talking to me.
Oh yeah, no problem.
So, you have some really loyal fans, and you were with me last year, and they wanted to see you back. So I'm so glad you're back.
yeah.
So I want to talk about a number of things. You do a lot of anthologies, and one of the ones you did at the end of 2019 was Parallel Worlds, and you had a really good story that everyone is coming out for. So tell us more about that.
Parallel Worlds was an anthology where there were a number of, I forget what the actual theme of it was, but I remember that I was writing about the character that I intend to use as a spin-off character one day for a new series.
Yeah.
So eventually Dresden Files will be done, and when that's finished, then I'm going to have something else to do with my time or I'll lose my mind. So, so I'm planning on a new series starring that character, and so his name is Goodman Gray. He's a monster for hire because when you're in trouble, you need a hero, but sometimes the only one who can get you out of it is a monster, you know.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I'm working with on that new one.
That's great. And you have a new book coming out later this year. Tell me about that.
Peace Talks will be out in July. It's the first Harry Dresden book in a while. I finally kind of got myself put back together and functioning again. And so we're making a big deal about it this year. We're doing Dresden drops every Tuesday so that people can show up, and there will be new Dresden stuff to see or talk about.
Yeah.
I've been writing microfiction. We're having some art contests. There's new products available. So there's all kinds of fun stuff. You can just drop by Jim Butcher online and find any of that anytime you want.
Yeah, and you go to a lot of conferences and you teach some really incredible classes. If we had some authors out there or prospective authors, what are some tips that you would give them?
Generally speaking, write.
That's right.
I mean, that's at the end of the day, that's all that really matters. You getting your writing done and taking care of your readers who are your customers.
Yeah, and one of the stories we talked about last time was about your teacher that really gave you
yes, indeed,
some headache to get you in there to write.
Yes, she did.
And she's a writer too, right?
Very much so.
And do you still talk with her?
Yeah, we swap emails once in a while, me and Deborah do.
That's great. And what are some of those principles that you currently use and put out to other people to use?
Oh, all of them. But if you want to find out more about it, you can either come to a convention like Superstars, where we are right now.
That's right.
Or you can check out Deborah's book, The Fantasy Fiction Formula by Deborah Chester.
Awesome. Now, something that I think is really fun about you is not only are you a great writer, but you do a fun activity called LARPing.
Indeed.
And let's tell everyone a little bit more about what that is.
That is where you get dressed up in costumes and run around in the woods all weekend and hit each other with swords and axes and stuff made out of plumbing supplies.
Yes.
So, but it's usually like a role-playing game, only instead of rolling dice, you go out and duke it out with Nerf swords. So yeah, you'll spend the whole weekend rampaging around the woods, hitting somebody with your axe and yelling a number. It's a lot of fun. It's very therapeutic, really.
It sounds like
yeah, it really is. It really is.
Tell us a little bit more about some other projects that you're working on.
What I am working on, though, right now is the next Cinder Spires book. And there's some things in development that could be very exciting, but I can't talk about yet. So as soon as we know if they're going to pay off, then I can scream it to the world. But so far, not yet.
Now, where do you scream it to the world?
I will be screaming it to the world on my Twitter account. You can look for Longshot Author on Twitter, or you can come by my website at jimbutcheronline.com.
That's great. And so some of our viewers, they come back and they want to learn more about you all the time. Give us a little bit more insight about you, Jim Butcher, the person.
Let's see. My household consists of me and my wife and 5 cats, who total 85 pounds of cat, and then about 90 pounds of pit bull. And,
oh, wow.
Yeah, I've got a rescue pit bull now whose name is Brutus Maximus Aurelius Butcher, but we just call him Brew, and most of the time Scooby Brew because he's a big chicken.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he's a fun guy.
Now, does he get along with your cats?
He does very much. Yeah, they were already there when he came in as a puppy, so they taught him respect when he was little, and he's remembered it. So.
Oh, that's awesome. And so here's a fun thing. Does your wife read your books?
She does indeed. That was initially I met her in an autograph line. She was in an autograph line, and that's where we met. But yeah, she's a reader of books. She's someone who gets very, very into her fandom. She got particularly into the Jim Butcher fandom, apparently. So.
Okay, so how does it even work? I gotta ask because maybe I'm a little girly there, but she's in your line. Where do you go from there? Hi, fan. Want to go to dinner?
No. It was. We met in the line and we talked and laughed a bit, and then maybe 6 months later, I worked up enough courage to try and friend her on Facebook, because even though I'm a successful author, done pretty well that way, I'm still a giant nerd, and it's like she's a pretty girl. I couldn't just go talk to her. So it took a while to work up that kind of nerve.
Yeah, that's great. Well, and it's fun because right now we're at the Superstars Writing Conference, and I think not necessarily to go and meet people for dating, but you meet a lot of friendly people, and you have like a tribe feel.
As a writer, you're kind of part of a small group. It's as if you're a performing magician, because you know all the tips, all the tricks, and the things that happen in the background, and that nobody else ever really notices or gets to know about. And it's only other writers who will know the pain of a really terrible edit and a really bad rewrite and that sort of thing. So you really do form a lot of camaraderie at an event like this.
Yeah. And what about when you are going to like the comic conventions and things like that? Do you find other fans and writers and find that same camaraderie?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, we were all nerds together. We all got beat up by the jocks together in high school. There are similar experiences to be had, and that we all know about.
Yeah. So what are some tips that you would give for potential authors out there besides to write? So they've written. What do they do now?
Probably the next most important thing to do is to see if you can secure yourself an agent. Although there will be other people who disagree with that. The independents are like, oh no, we need no agents, and they charge forward on their own way. And if that's your path, go for it.
Yeah.
But that would be my advice.
Great. Well, thank you so much for being back and chatting with me.
Certainly.
All right, and thank you for joining us on the Book Break. I'll see you next time.